Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here with another episode of Macross 7. How about you remind us about how much bikes in space suck?
Yeah, basically things have gotten even weirder, if that's possible, for Macross 7. Because we start the episode with Marlene and Basara being in a car. They bought some groceries because they were going to do a welcome party to Marlene being the new band member. Shadowed both by the mayor's assistants from space, from outside the dome, and by bikers, an old girl biker gang, I suppose. And they're like, okay, they try to lose them. The bikers confront them, try to fight. Of course, Basara does he's actually pretty good at it. So he actually grabs the girl midair, puts it in the back of the bike, and drives one of the bikes to show how cool he is, because he's also can do tricks on bikes as well. Okay, he can do that. Then the leader of the biker shows up, called Rex, because literally has a name tag in the back of her helmet, and tells him to F off, right? They have the picnic thing, and they have a concert in the factory ship, which looks like the factory ship from SDF-1. I guess they can replicate it too. Um, yeah, actually, it's just literally the same
It's
satellite
not,
thing.
it looks different. The one that we saw in SDF Macross didn't have all that, like, glass and shit on the
Well, I
outside.
guess
It was just like an
because I think,
asteroid.
yeah, but this was made to for people to live in as well, to work and live in, I guess. And they go to the concert. In the process, they're literally driving in their trucks. Again, in space, they're using vehicles with no spacesuits. The pilots use spacesuits, but everyone else is like, oh, this is perfect line. It's just a glass between me and the death vacuum of space, right? No problem there. So they fly between the Macross 7 and the factory ship. The bikers show up again. Bosara gets into a space scooter and sort of challenges them, or try to force them out of the road, which
So,
convinces their leader.
real quick point of fact, I guess I didn't really realize it at the time, but as you're indicating, they're on the factory ship, right? When they're doing their concert,
Yeah,
the same concert location that we saw the very first episode.
no, it looks similar, but it isn't.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. In fact,
Yeah, but no, it's not the same, because remember that Basara was on
this
the
isn't me indicating that you're wrong. This is me indicating that they're saving budget by reusing
reusing using
locations
assets. And
in
yeah,
different areas.
yeah. And so he gets into this moped. He is wearing a spacesuit, apparently, because mopeds don't have like full enclosures, I guess. So that's a consideration. It's like, yeah, we're still in the vacuum of space. And does a thing where they challenge each other and drives the biker chicks away, and the leader decides, aha, we're gonna go to that concert. So they start the concert, the biker chicks show up and try to mess it up, and they have a conversation, and the biker chick goes, the leader's like, are you willing to die for the music? Blah blah blah. It's like, sure, I'm willing to die. The enemy attacks the factory ship for some reason. I don't know why. They just attacked. Um, Basara gets into his fighter and challenges them, but they start targeting the people in the concert, especially the biker chicks, and so he's forced to use. Again, his music doesn't seem to be working. He has these speaker things in his shoulders, doesn't do anything, so he has to use missiles. He discovers that Ray put missiles in his fighter, and if he slides the thing in the guitar control, uh, fires the missiles and hits two of the enemy, including blowing the arm of one of them off. He's like, "Oh man, I had to use missiles, like actual weaponry in an actual fight." Ah,
Which I
and they
guess, if
fly off.
you think about it, also implies that Ray supplied him with the guitar as well.
I mean, it seems to be that he supplied them with everything, right? He sees it's my fighter, but it's like Ray was the one who brought it to him, right? Which explains that if Ray has military contacts, he's the one that set up the whole
Well,
thing,
it's
right?
clearly, we already know Max is talking to him. So when Max
Yeah.
says 2 episodes back, "Don't worry, I have it taken care of," clearly I'm going to talk to Ray, and Ray's going to take care of it.
Yeah. Or they already talked about it, I guess. Um, we also find that the reason why the enemy has veritable fighters is because they apparently captured a scout ship that had them and turned them around and sort of rebuild them to be in their own,
I
right?
think we you
Uh,
came up with different theories then, because if that's what you're saying now, then I
mhm,
think we have
mhm,
two different theories about what's going on here.
yeah.
If you're saying they captured a scout ship and then rebuilt them, I'm thinking these are the people that went to that planet who have now gone off on their own.
Yeah, but that would where you get the entire fleet and all that. I think it because the only explanation they have is for the variable fighters. They
What
don't say
I'm
anything
thinking
else.
of is that this is like another generational ship that went off to colonize a planet and that went missing. And this is what happened to those people that went missing. This is their generational ship, their fleet of whatever. They've gone rogue. Something happened to them, and now they're doing something else.
Also, they use the name of the planet they were investigating is Baruta. I don't know. That's also applies to them as well.
I guess also,
Although
why
it,
are they investigating it and not colonizing it or something? Why would
yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
I guess somebody has to send a ship out first to find out is this planet colonizable or not.
yeah. And in the middle of the fight, the missiles fly. He doesn't kill any of the enemies, but he drives them off, right? Who seem to be just attacking and destroying everything, buildings and the like. Who probably have people in them, or hopefully they don't. But they just seem to be in attack mode. They're not capturing. They're not doing the whole
Another
laser
major
beam.
difference between the
Yeah,
original manufacturing ship and this one is that there's large residential districts. As you
I
remember,
mean
the
for the
automated
workers.
ship from SDF Macross was automated.
Oh, yeah. Well, it had crew in it because it had Centrati. They were defending it at least. So there's that. Um, and uh, and they fly off, and Basara is angry. But he gets off the fighter and talks to the girls, and the guy back again is like, "Oh my God, you attacked it! You fought for us, whatever." Like, and then the leader takes up her helmet. She's a blonde, kisses Basara because apparently he is proving himself that he's willing to die for what he believes in. Milene sees it and gets jealous. Then he goes to talk to Ray and says, "Hey, you put missiles in my fighters." Like, yeah, I got them from the military. You never know when you need them, right? They just fit. They just fit in. And it's like, okay. Oh, he got wounded in the arm somehow, even though he's inside the cockpit. And the final shot is Milene jumping in the fighter, grabbing the guitar, telling her that her parents were both ace pilots, and she's the one who flies them back to the uh to the Macro 7 because in the fight their truck shuttle thing got destroyed. So that's it.
I
That was the
actually
episode.
I don't remember the truck thing, so I'll just take that in. But
No, no, literally, he says early on, says, "Don't, this is very expensive. Please don't scratch it." And then when they're in the middle of a fight, Bazara makes a dodge, and one of the enemies crashes into where the truck is and just totals it and then flies off.
so two things. One, I think one thing you missed or didn't bring up was the fact that now we're up to 35 people that the infiltrators have comatose. They said at the very beginning during the news conference.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's because before it was all the pilots, and we don't know how many pilots there were. Then we went from like 3 people got attacked. They only mentioned 2 in the news, and then we're up to 35 at the start of this one.
So there might be more infiltrators still inside the ship.
Well, yeah, no, they didn't pick the infiltrators up. Remember, the infiltrators fired their samples at the Batroid, and the Batroid flew off with the samples. None of the infiltrators left the ship. We've seen up to 4 or 5 infiltrators, but God knows how many. Just a funny
Just
thing came to my head though when you mentioned that Rex was a blonde. You know
uh-huh.
who else is a blonde? Well, I guess there's a lot of blondes. You know what other major character is also a blonde? That for some who also wears a helmet and a mask,
Oh,
sort of.
on
Lord
top of my head.
Geppenike, who the
Yeah.
subtitles went out of their way to point out. Yes, it's a dude because I guess we thought it was a woman to begin with, and then I guess the subtitle person thought it was a woman and wanted to point that out. But they made a point. Remember the first time Lord
Yeah,
Geppenike takes the mask off, blonde hair spills down, long blonde
oh,
hair.
and the other thing you want to mention is that yes, we now know who the arranged marriage is. It's Melia is trying to arrange marriage with the leader of the D squadron. The elite squadron, and he's
D
like,
Force,
"Oh
Diamond
yeah,
Force.
Diamond Force." That's what they call. I'm gonna call him the D squadron for Dooch.
Well,
Um,
in the bridge control scenes, they say D-Force sometimes, but when they
yeah,
go
yeah.
long, they say Diamond Force.
Of course, yeah. And so he's like, "Oh, some guy, hey, who's this picture? Oh, yeah, that's the daughter of my flight instructor. I guess Millie taught him how to fly before she went to civilian life." And he's like, "Oh, and according to you, I misremembered. I remember it differently." He's like, "Oh yeah, oh she's like 14," and he's like, that doesn't mean I'm not into her." According to you, according to me, it was the opposite. But then I guess
Well,
I have to watch it
they'll
again.
have just seen the episode. They're watching this in
Yeah,
playlist order, so they'll
yeah,
they'll know who was ultimately right. Just wait for that comment next year. Uh, uh, two things occurred to me. It's weird that they're called Diamond Force because we've just heard all the other names of the squadrons last episode, and they were all color based.
yeah.
That color diamond.
No, I mean, I think it's to separate them. Like, oh, regular people who get blown up by the enemy are like colors, red, black, whatever. You are Diamond Force. You're special, right?
And
Like,
previous to last episode, where the bikers, obviously a number
mhm,
of the bikers were actually blonde. There were only two
yeah.
other blonde people in the show beyond Lord Geppin Knight, whatever you say their name. One was
Mhm.
Michael Johnson, so not going to count him. You know who the other blonde member of the show is? Can you guess off the
No,
top of your head?
no.
No guess at all. Flower Girl. Flower Girl is the only other
Ah, yeah.
blonde in the show. Everybody else is a weird hair color, except for a couple black-haired people.
And again, Flower Girl seems to be she seems to be a super fan of some sort, right? A fan like she was like the earliest fan of Bazara in the band, and she's been following them around, but she doesn't get to say anything.
Yeah, and nobody notices her. People
Yeah,
bump into her and don't regard the fact they bumped into her. I'm not discounting the she's dead angle. Maybe it, again, could be Ray's dead daughter, Basara's old girlfriend that died. I'm just saying, I'm not discounting the mystical angle now that Spiritua is in play and we're driving cars between ships. I know that's not spiritual, it's just fucking weird.
it's goofy. Yeah, it's very goofy.
All right. Any other thoughts you want to put out there before we get in?
Um, this like we talked about this before. It feels like a filler episode, a goofy filler episode. Although I do like the fact that yeah, the Bazara's fighter or mech has actual weaponry in it, right? It's not just oh, we're gonna shoot speakers at people. Like if he has to fight, he has the means to fight, right? Uh,
It's the fact he has to get tricked into it though.
yeah, the fact that and it seems like Ray's like, yeah, sure, I put missiles in it. I knew
Because
it was
they
gonna come
fit.
up eventually. Yeah, because they fit. Like as in, like I knew you were gonna have to stop this nonsense and actually fight at some point. Yeah, I now the real mystery is not Basara. It's what's really Ray's angle, which has always been the mystery, I
Yeah, yeah,
suppose.
no,
Right?
I've said that
He's
from
a puppeteer. He's a puppeteer, right? He's like, yeah, I'm funding this. I get stuff from the military. I can actually hack into military frequencies. But what is his end game, right? And will Basara go with it or not? Which means I'm betting that he is actually going to die mid like episode 10 or 12 or 15, he's gonna die. And there's gonna be like a confession, like, oh, you were our only hope or something like that, and then he dies.
yeah. There's gonna be an episode where Ray goes, "Hey, Basara, I hear they're opening up a new restaurant in Central City or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
I People have been raving about this pineapple salad."
Yeah.
All right, well, I think with all that said, it's time for us to just go ahead and get into the next episode of Macross 7.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Really the only shot of the show that they do this with. The whole weird parallax thing.
Buy out Bumba.
I will say that we have also gotten a comment um, that we're not deep diving into or anything. It's just somebody who's mentioned after 40 years they finally noticed differences in what they thought the ending and opening lyrics of SDF Macross were, and how the opening is kind of like, or sorry, the ending is like an answer to the opening, where the opening seems to be sung from the perspective of Hikaru slash Rick, and the ending is sung from the perspective of Min-Mei. And it's not like we've never done dives into the meanings of lyrics on the channel before. It's just that one seemed more like a perspective thing. So
Yeah.
I am just me mentioning that commenter's perspective. That's all. The rhyme in this crazy dance on Planet Dance? Oh, maybe that V-named planet is Planet Dance. Look, we've got, like, again, I think I've called it a buckshot of clues. So, and unfortunately, it's that kind of a clue distribution that a bunch of it is poured into, like, a couple of cups, but not to completion. So, I know a couple of people are important, but not why.
希望するゼントラーディはマイクロ音化という技術によりその体を地球人サイズに変えた。
The Micron process.
You know what I'd really like to see is somebody walking by one of the Min-Mei dolls, or a character who has like a collection of historical artifacts, and just a life-size Min-Mei doll in like a glass case. Look, people died for them, right? I still remember skeletal giant Centrati with the Min-Mei doll in its hand.
Oh, this is a new song. I like this one. It's very, very 80s.
That's exactly the same to me. Like I said, I'm not going to tell the difference until I'm in editing. I mean, unless you're ahead of me and you heard the song before I got here.
No.
You are at 3-minute mark, right?
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Just making sure. It's happened in the past. Not between us. I think it's also interesting that we had a everyone gets captured episode in SDF Macross before we got to First Contact.
そんなに大きな声出さないでよ。まあ、なんてはしたない格好でいるのあなたは。何よ、モニターにしろって言ったのはママじゃないのよ。ミレーヌ。ミレー
Well,
ヌ。
thank God we're at her perspective. Never mind.
ミレーヌ、この歌なんとかしなさい。そんなに一度に何でもできないよ。ミレーヌ、私はね、あなたがどうしてもロックバンドを続けたいというのなら許してあげてもいいと思っているのよ。
I literally thought her perspective was, it's not like you could stop me. And my love is dependent on you giving me things.
Wow, yeah, the built-in fax machine. That is such an 80s, 90s thing, yeah.
Flips over, it says, you're fired.
この人暗殺してほしいのね。そうよ。ハートを一撃でね。
All I really made out on that was Battleship and the fact that he constantly wins championships number 5 and 6. Well, he's a bowman, all right.
Yeah.
This is literally what Bowman did. And it is a YF-19. Oh, we already figured that out. Never mind.
これ以上のアクセスは1345規定により端末機のすべてのデータを消去します。バカな。奴のバルキリーの基本データを確認するだけだぞ。アクセス不能、アクセス不能。
So it was a good thing they hadn't figured out the cloud back in the Sharon Apple incident. Not so much now.
そんな気全然ないわよ。だいたい私みたいな子供にお見合いなんて早すぎると思わない
Yes.
いつまでも子供扱いしないでって言ってるのは誰かしら。
やだ、それとこれと。
いいわね。明日午後2時待ってるわよ、ミレーヌ。
I guess to be fair, her mom is a Zentradi.
そうそう。
あは
明日着ていく服は送っておきましたからね。もうそろそろ届くはずよ。じゃあね。
And the Zentradi have only been getting married for the last 30 years now.
なんなのよ。
Yeah. But the fact that he's going for an arranged marriage.
It could be worse. Mylene, you have to beat your next husband in a fight, a knife fight. Till I met your dad. Mark Twain 7? The movie or the name of the ship?
Probably both.
Not a good sign. This many episodes in and we're already flashbacking.
レイミレーヌがもうすぐ合流する。あとはお前の到着を待つばかりなんだが。
ああ、もう目の前まで来てるよ。
そうか、ならいいんだ。早く来いよ。
わかった。
一応出力を 20% アップしましたが制御が難しいと思います。
構わん。ジャジャ馬ならしは得意だ。
金龍隊艦長からテスト飛行の許可がおりました。
よし、じゃあ軽く流してみるか。
了解。
あれが軽くか？
やっぱりすごいな、ダイヤモンドフォースは。
Yeah, they're the aces. Oh, it's wow! It's like I guess it's a
Steamboat.
steamboat, yeah, in
It's a
space.
spaceship steamboat.
Casino ship, probably.
Probably. I mean, it's based on like the original steamboats. Mark Twain is basically tied to gambling a lot of times, so.
D2 から D1 ミルキーロード77民間機が見えますか？あれがどうかしたか、ガムリン。あの民間機 MM の新型モデルのように見えますが、限界速度と噴射出力の比率が異常です。
自分で改造したんじゃありませんか？
フィジカ、よく覚えておけ。
I'm confused that they seem to be in a spaceship on the road. Isn't that where the cars go?
検索コンピューターで照合しろ。了解。どうだ？やはりな。データを送信します。
MM15D なら問題ないのではないですか？え？ MM18？17？15？なんで？
なかなか巧妙な偽装だ。考えられる可能性は
Clever disguise. How the fuck does that even happen?
あるいは
潜入した敵機
かもしれません。隊長、このまま追跡を続行させてください。よし、わかった。フィジカ、我々は帰還してテスト結果の検討を行う。
了解。
Why are you leaving? Well, I guess
they were on a test flight. It's more so, why don't you radio back in for some more support?
Yeah.
D2 より D1 未登録民間機ロスト。前方宇宙艇に潜入した模様。追跡続行の許可を。
I guess if all their communications are being monitored, then it's
これ以
fine.
上の追跡は我々の任務の範囲を超えている。帰還したまえ。しかし隊長、今調査隊をそちらに向かわせる。君は艦に戻って明日からの休暇をゆっくり取りたまえ。隊長。
I'm sorry, are you covering for them? What the hell's going on with this?
つまりあと1時間で休暇ということです。だからなんだ？自由時間ということで捜査を続行させてください。しかし、もちろん。
Imagine if you were on the trail of Jack the Ripper, and your commanding officer says, "No, you can't chase after them. Now go on vacation." What the fuck are you? Are you Jack the Ripper? What the fuck's going on here?
どうしたものかな。
ま、よかろう。
Literally, just last episode, 35 victims so far. Gem and the holograms, everybody.
D2 やはり完全にロストしたようです。調査隊には周辺区域を探してほしいと伝えてください。了解。戻るとするか。
Airspace.
I think sometimes they forget that they're in space.
間違いない。奴のバルキリーだ。ということは、あの熱気バサラがこの船に乗っている。こちら D2 ガムリン。これより
He's certainly got the hairline of an older man.
パンフレットこちらです。
一部くれ。
どうぞ。
バサラ、どうしたんだ今日は。
何が？
出だしをミスるなんてお前らしくないじゃないか。
そうかな。
Flower girl.
そういえば今日のバサラはなんか迫力なかったわね。
そうかい。
何よ。心配してる。
What if she's a service officer?
ありがとうよ。
あ、失礼。この席空いてますか？
多分ね。
Hidden in her flower thing is a summons to court. Oh, what a perfect way to hide your thing. We're gonna do a laser light show. The whole audience.
いや、バンドの入れ替えやってんのさ。あんたあんまりロック聞いたことないみたいだな。
そうでもない。もう何度も聞かされた経験がある。無理やりな。
へえ。
It's pretty fun back and forth.
ファイヤーボンバーの演奏は終わってしまったんですか？
ああ、とっくに終わってるよ。最低のステージだったぜ。
そうか。
何話してんの？
後ろの人。
It's entertaining how disappointed he seems.
じゃあサインでもしてあげたら？
ウルザナレイドか。結構感じいいですね。
うん、悪くない。
Next up is Daft Punk.
That was funny.
どうした？おい、しっかりしろ。ドッカーと同じ症状だ。
何事ですか？
この船をすぐ閉鎖しろ。この中に敵兵が紛れ込んでいる。全員その場から移動させるな。
どうしてこんなところにいるの？
I appreciate that her first encounter with Gamlin is him being very on the ball.
見失った。
お前、熱気バサラ。
俺はこっち行くぜ。
待て。熱気バサラ、貴様に聞きたいことがある。
なんだよ。
Oh, never mind about the on the ball thing. Literally not chasing after the bad guy.
貴様と軍の関係を聞いているんだ。
知らねえよ、そんなこと。
待て。敵襲か。
ゲペロニッチの策など結果を待つまでもない。サンプルどもの恐怖に膨張したスピリッツやこのギギル様がいただく。
So I guess it's intense emotion, I guess. Not just, you know, anger or fighting spirit. It's
Well, we know it raises during combat. That's all we know. I also indicated stress and survival instinct as other things it could be.
目標宇宙船に味方潜入部隊の信号が確認されましたが。
誤差の範囲だ。構わず攻撃する。
お前はどの部隊に所属しているんだ？
何わけのわからねえこと言ってんだよ。
I mean, I think the thing is that these are just a bunch of fucking civilian ships. They're all sitting ducks to anything.
だったらなぜ出撃する？
うるせえな。お前には関係ねえだろ。
関係ない？
Oh, look, it's our missing ship. Cleverly disguised with a blanket.
何わけのわからんことを。じゃあな。くそ。緊急発進準備。テイクオフへのチェックのうち。
I also can't help but notice that we did nothing with pinpoint shield technology.
I mean, it's a civilian ship. Well, no, the shield that he was when he was covering the biker girls, he had pinpoint.
Oh no, I mean on like the whole ship angle. That guy ain't gonna get the signal.
何なんだあいつは。
D1 より D2 ガムリあと600秒で交戦区域に到着する。それまで持ちこたえてくれ。
了解。
離れるな。ダッシュスポット OK 回してください。
That guy's spirituals is lost forever, I guess.
MM がまだいたのか。
ゲペルニ近くか。かねてより欲していました楽器演奏者という種族のスピリチアサンプルが手に入った模様です。
Musician type. Finally, I can class change.
好きにさせておけ。
は。おい、熱気バサラ。聞こえているはずだ。
Maybe they're fighting Zentradi. Like maybe they have their own weapon that does like culture shit, and they need spiritua from a musician to fight the Zentradi with.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be gambling fight needs to be more effective than whatever the hell, you know.
Oh yeah, because he's doing
Lazara is trying to do. Yeah.
Shame this is the episode where he dies. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of annoyed that our first contact episode was literally just first contact with Gamlin and everybody, and not first contact with the enemy. I legit thought Gamlin was about to die. Will you attack people to protect Gamlin?
Yeah.
I would be surprised if Deagle died here too, though. Oh. Never mind. Aiming for the leg. You made me attack you, and for that, I'm going to attack you.
隊長今日のところは引き上げてやるだが二度はないと思え
Yeah, asshole. You remember, this is a war, dude.
あいつに借りを作ってしまったか。
仕方ありませんね。それより早く怪我を治して。
You are on vacation.
また日を改めてお願いするわ。
はい。
Now, are you going to eat away at my vacation with my medical leave hours? Because I really want to know.
君は
はじめましてミレーヌ・ジーナスです。
何か私に用でも。
ママ、いえ、市長の家に来れないと聞きましたので。
ミレーヌって市長の娘さんの？これは失礼しました。
私、マーク・トウェイン号に乗っていたんですよ。
Oh, it's called the Mark Twain, of course.
姿を拝見させていただきました。
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I thought you said the movie. I'm like, what?
Well, it looked like a before we saw the steamboat motif. I thought it might have been like a floating movie theater. So like, is that the name of the ship or is the name of the movie?
あなたみたいな方がなぜあんな船に乗っていたんですか？
ほら、学校の課題研究の一つだったので。
なるほど。
Because I'm 14, in case you forgot. If
Yeah.
you didn't, as you talked about it.
見合いになってしまいましたね。
本当ですね。
Man's old enough to have crow's feet hairline. I guess something else that jumps out at me is the fact that the D-Force ships can take multiple barrages of missile fire.
I mean, it's hero ship stuff, right? Oh, they're the heroes. We don't want them to die. It's like what happened with Hikaru, where when he's got his arm blown off, but he should have been completely destroyed. He's a hero ship, so
Yeah, but it got its arm blown off. This thing just got
Yeah.
multiple hits from rockets from every direction. Nothing. I mean, obviously he got hurt on the inside, which is great. I appreciate that they at least did that much, but like one rocket from Basara blew the leg off of the main bad guy versus barrage after barrage after barrage from the main bad guy to Gamblin literally left his fighter craft without a scratch.
Yeah.
I guess I appreciate more so than the complaint that I had against it before, the inversion of the concept of first contact. Since this is literally first contact between protagonists. And less so Captain Nick Planet Donut.
今度のライブはリゾート会よ。
暇つぶし連中に聞かせるサウンドはねえよ。
ねえ、寒くない？凍りついてきた。
次回サマーアクシデント過激にファイヤー。
Bowman could have gotten us out of here. We know Bowman's got a specialty with falling doors or door seals.
So yeah.
Surprisingly, out of the 3 episodes, this one was the best.
True.
On a sliding scale.
Gamblin doesn't come out as being as a jerk, aside the fact that he has a heart for a 14-year-old.
I never thought he was a jerk. I mean, it's obviously he's got a problem, as you just mentioned there before, but his is the most reasonable position, besides that thing that you just mentioned before, of wanting to take care of the people who are literally comatosing our entire civilian population.
And his questions are real, like, who the hell are you? Why are you interfering with, military operations, right? he says, "Well," and when Basara actually saved his life, he's like, "Okay, I guess I owe him one, right?" So he's reasonable. Basara is the one that comes out like, "Oh, I guess I have to use the missiles. I don't know. Just dude, just
Yeah,
do it already."
you pushed me to
Right.
the edge. And
Yeah.
then, he wasn't protecting Gamlin, really. It's like Gamlin was sitting
Mhm.
in front of the escape pod that Maylene
Mhm.
was in front of. So
Yeah.
it's like, I can't get any closer to the escape pod because Gordon's in front of it. So that's when you see the rocket explosion explode near Malene's escape pod that he goes after it.
Yeah.
Not because Gamlin's there. So what Gamlin's clearly going to say, "Thank you for saving my life," or something like that. He's like,
Yeah, he's like,
and Basar's going to be like, "What are you talking about?" Because
yeah.
that's how these scenes go. I also hate this civilian fleet. It's filled with, this isn't the. I guess it is kind of. This feels like Season 1 Battlestar Galactica remake Escape Fleet, where we've got a bunch of ships that are just useless. We haven't cut loose all of the ships that aren't valuable anymore. Like, what about the ship that grows shit and stuff like that? No, we've got an auditorium ship that looks like a steamboat. We've got you know, we've apparently got a donut ship or whatever the fuck this thing is. Like, what did we bring with us for this colonization? A city and a bunch of relaxation.
I mean, it's supposed to be warships, but we never see the warships actually fire the weapons either, which is kind of weird.
We see them. Well, we don't see them at all. We hear them. Well, I guess we see the
Yeah.
tip of the one that launches the D fighters
Yeah.
or D Force,
I
but
think there's I think there's now actually they're launched from the Macross
it's
itself.
variable.
Hmm.
In one episode, the one specifically I wrote it down, it listed a different ship launching them, so I guess they can be launched from everywhere. But I will agree, it looks like more often than not they're launched from the tip of Macross 7. Maybe the other ships are getting launched from the whatever one I said.
Yeah.
Because I do remember one of the Bridge Bunnies says, "Okay, they're launching fighters," and then the camera pans over to D-Force launching. So it could be one of those interpretation things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, this was a good episode for our main characters that have been disparate from one another finally coming together.
Yeah.
Maylene finally getting to see how serious Gamlin is. Gamlin pulling a Bowman.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to have to do like a read up on that paper that we saw for Gamlin. Because it looks like he's got a Sami type of write up. Except that his victories haven't been taken away. Well, it says he's like constantly winning championships number 5 and 6, which doesn't mean anything to me with no context. Also, the fact that they got that in the facts. Like 5 years ago, Macross Plus had higher tech readouts. I don't know. We've gone away from the mystery, I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
before we were peppering the mystery in, now it's like we're dashing. Just a little spritz of the mystery. Of like, okay, I'm going to look you up. That's a YF-19, alright. We already guessed that because we know what a YF-19 looks like. Even me, who doesn't know a shit about planes, can recognize the YF-19 from Macross Plus to now. And then that was it. That was all the mystery from this episode.
And that she was looking for a musician Spiritia. So I guess Spiritia is
based on
particular
career.
to the person, I guess, career base or something like that.
Which doesn't make any sense to, well, I guess it makes sense in the identification that that's a thing. But on the outside, these people have never gotten into contact with any of the people that they're stealing from. Right? So that means that scientifically, that's what that is. They would have no idea that they're stealing spiritua from a musician or not. So they're self-identifying it in their own identification system as musician spiritua. Otherwise, I would say, well, the only people I'm fucking stealing spiritua from are pilots. These are all pilot musicians. Like, why is that musician spiritua and not jazz spiritua or blues spiritua or whatever he was playing? I'm not good with musical genres, so I just assume that he's playing a saxophone. It has to be jazz. I don't know.
I think it was, yeah. again, yeah, this I think Macross 7 what really is I think it is the change of tone, or like I said before, the conflicting tones, right? You have the mystery and the seriousness of the enemy attacking and all, and then you have Basara. But now Basara is like, okay, I am in a war anime. I should act accordingly. Right? Now he's coming into that. But how much is it? Or we're gonna have another turn where it's like, no, Basara was always right. It's just that he was doing something wrong. He had some piece missing, and now he gets it, and now he gets to be the hero again, right?
That's what it's going to be. But I imagine
Yeah.
before then, since we have so much runtime left to go through, it's going to be a
Uh-huh.
period of self-destruction. I imagine there's going to be a room we see him sitting in, possibly a dark one, where he's like punching the wall, like, why did you make me do it? Eventually he's going to go from, I had to blow off a robot's leg to, I killed somebody. How dare you make me do this? I mean,
And he comes to the stage where there's something he has to take life in order to save life, right?
because we don't know his backstory. Like, we don't know a
Yeah, we don't
damn
know.
thing about him. We don't know
I mean-
anybody's, really, except for Ray's, which is, like, the most peppered backstory we've gotten.
Yeah. And only that he's connected to the military somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
The
That's it.
majority
That's the
of
only-
our backstory on Ray is inference.
Yeah. Yeah, probably gonna get some flashback in. Well, he's too young, apparently, to have remembered the end of, because we keep going back to every episode. Oh, remember what happened? The Earth got destroyed, blah blah blah. Maybe that's significant somehow, right? But I think he's too young to remember the destruction of Earth. So maybe the aftermath.
The main characters of Macross Plus, I don't even think would have been there for
Yeah,
it.
so no.
These guys look. Don't know. I mean, generously, at the oldest, I'd say Basar's what, 20?
At most.
Right. And we're what, 2045 right now? So
yeah,
he would have been born 3 years after the peace treaty.
Yeah.
What, 6 years after the Earth was killed, air quotes.
No.
So yeah, I mean, he is well into the category of saw it in a movie or
Yeah, and next
played it in
generation. He's from the next.
karaoke.
He's a next generation kind of thing, right? Although he might have gotten from a parent, something like that. Oh no, look at my parents suffered and the aftermath, and I don't want anybody to suffer like that. Which
Well,
can also be,
you figure that even if he was born even what did I say? Yeah, 6 years after, which would have meant his formative years would have been what, 2020, like that, which is enough time for the colonies to have started giving rise.
Yeah.
So he might not even care about Earth. Right?
True.
I was born on Eden, example. I don't give a shit about Earth. What's Earth to me but just another place? I'm from Planet Dance.
Yeah, but I think it's in the implication, at least for the intro, is that Earth is still, and by Macross Plus, is that Earth is still very central to the story, right? It's the home world, right? It's that's the implication, right? Otherwise, it was like, stuff happened on Earth. Now
I
we're
don't
going
feel
to
like that was the case in Macross Plus. I think the case Macross Plus was giving was, this is where the SDF Macross is, so we're going to hold the event here. Not that it's on Earth. Just more so, the SDF Macross holds all this meaning for us.
I mean, that's also the central government is there as well, the military and all that. So yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, the majority of command that I saw from Macross Plus, I feel like the guy who chewed out our main character in the beginning that sent him to Eden had more authority than any other character in command the entire 4 OVAs. I don't know. He seemed more responsible. Also, he didn't pull background shit like Millard did.
Yeah, Colonel Miller, yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, again, we are left with more questions than answers, really.
Yeah.
Or we're left with the same questions that we really haven't gotten an answer to.
Yeah, the show beyond a certain, we've hit the point where we're adding a spritzing of answers or possible answers to the questions we've gotten, and sometimes we add just one more question. like the whole musician spiritual thing.
Yeah.
So, the final thought.
Well, I think I have to get to the idea that this is going to be a slow burner, certainly, because we have a lot of episodes to go, and they're not going to just give in to us in a. I mean, that's good because I guess if you look at SCF1 or the OVAs, they're more shorter, and in the case of SDF1, they had to rush it, right, because they thought they were going to end. Here, Macross, it's more established, right? They already have a couple of series behind themselves and movies, and so they're like, yeah, this is our first proper TV series that we can do, without feeling the pressure that we had before. So they can afford to slow roll it because they have the audience, unless the audience during this time collapse, which I doubt very much because we have future series. So yeah.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here for today. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?